My name's Aaron. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'd like to welcome you to PVC Me, an innovative sign and banner management system using PVC that allows you to present your image and your message in a very professional yet affordable way. Because a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Over 30 years ago, I started my first business. Since then, I've opened up 22 brick and mortar businesses, 2 concession trailers, and 4 food trucks. One thing they all had in common was they needed more exposure. They needed signage. So the first banner I got was a 3-foot by 8-foot coming soon banner. A banner like many of you have gotten in the past. It comes with 4 strings in the corners. How do you hang it and make it look good? So I did what everybody else does. I tied one into a fence post and one into a telephone pole, and it looked pretty good for a little while. And then the first little storm came along and it looked terrible. And I never could get it looking good after that. The other thing we can use is these little coroplast signs. They're great. I love them. You can get them in any color, size, shape, any message you want on them. But again, the question is, how do you display these things in an effective way to drive traffic to your business? I've come up with a solution for that. So the 3-foot by 8-foot banner is what started me out on this project over 30 years ago. But along the way, I've developed a lot of other really cool applications for signage that'll allow you to display your message to the consumer in a variety of different ways. I've developed swinging signs, spinning signs, A-frame, a collapsible A-frame sign, a trade show sign that you can disassemble and take with you. And I've just recently developed an illuminated sign using solar lights. So no batteries, no cords, burns every night. It's really great. Today I'm going to briefly show you a few of these applications, and I'm also going to go over the basic tools, materials, and procedures that you need to make these signs. At the end of today's video, I'm going to show you 6 different signs that you can buy on the website as kits. You go to pvcme.us, you look up the signs. There's 6 different ones. You're going to be able to get them. They'll come as a kit. All the PVC pipe will be pre-cut. You'll get all the fittings. You'll get a drawing and a parts list. And then all you need to do is go to Lowe's or somewhere else and buy primer, glue, and a rubber mallet. After that, you'll need to go to pvcme.us, find the correct video, watch it a few times, and then you'll be ready to make these signs at home or in your shop and get started promoting your business. I've directed this discussion at small businesses because that's my foundation. But I want to take a minute to talk to a couple other groups. Schools, churches, civic organizations. You guys all use banners and signs periodically throughout the year to promote your agenda for whatever you're doing. PVC Me is the professional and affordable way that you can do that. Last but not least, sign shop operators. Let me put it simply, guys. You could sell a lot more signs and banners to your customers if they knew that they had a professional and affordable way to present the signs to their customers. Now, you can either make these sign frames in your shop and sell them to your customers, or you can direct your customers to the website and have them make their own frames. Either way, you'll sell more banners and signs. I've already sold these sign frames to the UPS store, to Fast Signs, and to Allegra Print and Imaging. They've sold them to their customers, and they currently have them for sale to their customers. Now let's get started. We're going to go over here and look at the 3x8 that started this whole thing, and then I'll walk through the rest of the signs for you. So this is what started me out over 30 years ago trying to solve this problem. It's a 3-foot by 8-foot banner. How do you hang it? How do you make it look good? This is how you hang it. This is how you make it look good and stay looking good. This is a swinging banner frame. So no matter how hard the wind blows, this sign will blow out of the way and drop back down. I've seen these out in severe storms, out like this in the wind. As soon as the wind dies down, this thing drops back down in. And one thing to keep in mind, I've got this set up temporarily in these single bases here. This is designed to be roadside signage. You're going to drive an EMC pipe into the ground where each of these legs come down. And you're going to sleeve this down over that pipe. And once you drive that pipe in the ground about a foot or so, that pipe is going to make this thing solid as a rock. So I literally have these exact same banner frames that have been up for 5 or 6 years. I've had to replace the banner several times, but the frame is still perfectly good. So this is what started me out on the whole project. This is a 3 foot by 8 foot banner frame. Now I'm going to take you and show you some other great little ways that I've developed to display your signage along the way while I was experimenting in my workshop. All right, and here we have all of the different A-frames that I've developed so far. So you're really going to like these A-frames. I've designed an offset hinge that allows these things to be collapsible. They are perfect for concession trailers, food trucks, or if you've got a boutique or something and you need a small sign to put out on your sidewalk. These things collapse, they're thin, you put them out of the way, and then when you're ready, there you go. So you've got any different size that you want to make out of these. Here you can see one that I used to use in one of my concession trailers. I would serve in hot dogs and nachos, stuff like that. I would take this with me. When I got where I was going, I was ready to set up. My menu was on it. I set this thing outside. When I was done for the day, I packed it up, put it in the trailer, took it with me. These things are really handy. They're pretty well resistant to the wind. You can make them in almost any size and shape you want. This one here is a 2 foot by 6 foot banner that I made into an A-frame. So this is a good roadside sign if you need something out there. And here's one I've just developed. I haven't even drawn it up yet. We haven't really shot a video of it yet. But this one is a combination A-frame and swinging sign. So you're gonna be able to take this with you or put it in your closet, take it with you, and when you get wherever you're going, just set it out. It'll have your menu on it, information about your operation, whatever you want to put on these chloroplast signs. These things are great, they're very handy, they're easy to make, and affordable. Go to pvcme.us, you'll be able to download a video and watch it. You'll be able to get a parts list and a drawing, and then you'll be able to make these signs at home yourself. Here's a bunch of swinging signs that I've developed. They are sort of the cousins of that giant 3 foot by 8 foot banner that I showed you a little while ago. These are smaller roadside signs that you can use or you can take to events. When you make them any size you want to, here's a double swinging sign. Here's a very large swinging sign in the back. Here's a stop sign in an octagon shape, stop for breakfast. And then, of course, you've got the PVC Me signs. You can make these in all sorts of different combinations. Obviously, they're paintable. These are great for in your parking lot or out on the edge of the road to drive extra traffic to your business. Here we've got the spinning signs. The big problem that you've got with all these outdoor signage is wind. So you've got to take the wind out of the equation. So the swinging signs do that. And another great way to do that is the spinning sign. So no matter how hard the wind blows, these signs spin. It's like a weather vane, and they turn and get out of the way of the wind. So all of these signs that are movable also attract more attention. So if this sign is on the side of the road and it was static, just sitting here like this, it wouldn't be nearly as effective as they are when they're spinning in the wind. So again, these signs, most of them are designed to be on the side of the road to allow additional signage to drive traffic to your place. But some of them, these smaller ones, I use and set up in my drive-thrus and in my parking lot or on the sidewalk. So there's a variety of sizes and shapes that you can make with these spinning signs. And I'm going to show you all of those on a series of videos on the website. You'll be able to download the video to watch it. You'll be able to get a parts list and a drawing, and you'll be able to make all of these signs at home. So this is a new one I've recently developed. A friend of mine came to me and asked me if I could design one that would he could take into a trade show with him. So I did that. I designed this one to be take-apartable. If you'll notice down here, I've made each of these fittings where they come apart. Each one of these pipes comes apart. This T is one piece. This elbow is one piece. Metal D-rings in there to hold them together so that This whole thing comes apart into 6 different pieces of pipe. You can carry it all up into the trade show under your arm. You can assemble it, and then you put the banner in place, and then you've got your trade show or event banner. And I've only got the one size so far, but if you'll pay attention, if you'll subscribe to the YouTube channel, I'm going to build some additional sizes here and all of the specifications, and I have not shot the video yet, but I'm going to show you how to build these fittings here, these special fittings, so that the pipes slide in and out. So you can build your own trade show or event signage, and you can take it with you anywhere you want to go, and you don't have to worry about carrying a great big sign in your car. You'll be able to put these in the back of any vehicle and take them with you wherever you go.
All right, so in this clip I'm going to show you the illuminated signs. So 4 or 5 months ago I was driving around doing maintenance on all my signs, making sure they were up. The only thing that you're going to have any kind of issue with on some of these signage is actually the zip ties. Sometimes they'll break, and so I go around periodically just to double check and make sure everything looks good, put a new zip tie in if I need to. So as I was driving around, I realized that during the summer when I had put all my signs up, they looked great all the way up until about 9 o'clock, which was sort of the end of when people are out shopping anyways. But this was in the middle of winter. So here I am, it's 5:30, it's already dark. Most of my signs, you could not see them. That's when I decided I needed to figure out a way to illuminate them. So that's what I've done. You're going to see in a minute here, I'm going to turn off the lights and let you see, but I've got solar lights on all of these signs. These are yard lights. You can buy them at Lowe's or Walmart, and then with a couple little modifications, you can make them where they'll fit in your sign. So no batteries, no cords. They illuminate every night. They really help show your signs off after dark. So now we're going to turn off the lights, and I'm going to show you some of these signs illuminated. Here you go. You've got a 16 by 16 that I use out on the sidewalk for some of my places to promote my products. You've got a 16 by 16 that I use in the drive-through. This is designed to have stakes in the ground and be mounted outside. Back here you've got a 32 by 32 inch swinging sign. It's got 4 lights on it, 2 on each side. So if you mount this perpendicular to the road, you get full coverage all day and all night. This is what I call my realtor sign. I've designed it for a friend of mine who's a realtor. Up top, you'll see there's a little panel here where he can put his name and phone number, and underneath here will be the name of the business. So this thing will swing in the wind, will not come down, and will be illuminated all night long. Over here you've got another 32 by 32 inch swinging sign. This one is single-sided. It's only got 2 lights on it with the same general idea. This one will be illuminated all night long, blows in the wind, attracts the consumer's attention. These are great little things. And back here, you've got a big sign, 48 by 48 inches. This one swings in the wind. It's lit with 4 lights, 2 on each side. You put this perpendicular to the road, and it'll be illuminated all night long. Promote your business after dark. These are easy to do. You can buy the solar lights at Walmart and Lowe's. Small modification to them to make them usable in this frame, and then no batteries, no cords, and your signs will be illuminated all night long.
All right, so now we're going to go over the tools and materials that you need to make these signs. The basics: PVC pipe, 1 1/4 inch, 1 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1/2 inch. When you buy this pipe, make sure you buy Schedule 40. It's got a thick wall. Do not buy the Schedule 20. It's thin and flimsy. It will not make the sign frames that you're looking for. So you need to buy Schedule 40 pipe. And then one of the other things that you're going to use if you get into mounting these signs on the side of the road is EMC. This is electric metal conduit. You buy this at Lowe's in the electrical department. It comes in 10-foot sticks, so you're going to need to cut it. In order to cut these pipes, either the plastic or the metal, you can use a hacksaw. Now, I don't recommend that. If you use a hacksaw to cut this pipe, you're going to end up with a lot of rough edges and burrs around here. You're going to have to sand every one of these pipes before you can fit it into a fitting. Hacksaw works very good for this metal pipe. Now, if you're only going to cut a few of these, you can probably get by with this. If you're going to do like I do, and I literally have 40 or 50 of these signs around, I have a grinder. I use the grinder to cut the pipe off. So either way, I'm not going to show you how to cut that with a hacksaw. For cutting PVC, you're going to need a PVC cutter, right? This is the large version. They make a smaller version. The large version goes all the way up and cuts the 1 1/4 or 1.5 inch pipe. The smaller version will only go to the 1 inch pipe. I highly recommend, if you think you're going to be building some of these projects, that you go ahead and invest. It's about $5 more to get the large version versus the smaller version. So I highly recommend that you get the large PVC cutter. So I'll show you real quickly how it works. It's pretty simple. You just pull the handle multiple times and the blade starts to come down. So once you've marked your pipe, you make sure that blade lands on the mark, and then you just keep on squeezing until the pipe gets cut through. And there you go. Easy, nice, clean edges. You don't have to do any sanding. That's what you really need. Another thing you're going to have is a tape measure. Make sure you get a good tape measure. Don't buy a little skinny, flimsy one. Get one that's going to be able to stand out at a distance by itself. And it's always a good idea to have a tape measure around the house anyways if you don't already have one. You definitely have to have a Sharpie. You're going to be marking a lot of these pipes. You want to be able to mark it. I highly recommend that you use a red one. If you look, most of these pipes have black ink printed on them. So if you use a black marker, on occasion you're going to end up with a mark in a spot where it's hard to see it unless you use the red. And then you're going to need glue and primer. I use the purple primer because I can see it. They make a clear primer, but I don't like it because I can't tell where I've put it on the project. And then the glue, so you put the primer on first, you put the glue on second, and then you put the pieces together. The last thing you're going to need is a rubber mallet. Most of these pipes will fit together reasonably well, but in order to secure them all the way down and to make sure your project ends up being level, you really want to use a mallet to drive the fitting and the pipe home to make sure you got a good snug fit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quickly how to make this 24 by 24 inch swinging sign. This is one of the ones I use the most. First thing you're always going to make when you're making one of these swinging signs is the swinging part itself. So I've got this project about halfway put together. You always want to build your uprights first, because that will help you make sure that your project is flat and that it swings properly once you've got it assembled. So you want to make sure that these parts all end up, you can see how they're all flat there, so it lays on the table without any wobble. So I'm going to build the second one now and show you the proper technique for priming and gluing and fitting all these parts together. I've got about half of these parts primed already, so I'm just going to prime the rest of them and show you. You really want to make sure you get primer around the entire project, right? The primer and the glue, when they form together, create a chemical bond. It's actually sort of like a weld, and the fittings and the pipe that you put together with the primer and the glue will probably never come apart if you do it properly. This part here is the part that swings on the top rod. So I am not going to glue the 1 inch pieces of sections of this fitting, but I am going to glue the 1/2 inch. So you've got a 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/2 inch T. You have a 1/2 inch T, which is 1/2 inch on all 3 sides. And make sure you get glue all the way around inside, so you want to run the little swab all the way around. And then you're using a 90, a 1/2 inch 90, so it's a 1/2 inch on each end. So the last piece I'm going to prime is what I call a 0 piece. This little piece here is a 1 1/4 inch piece of 1/2 inch PVC. I use them in almost all of my signs, so you'll see me referencing a 0 piece quite a bit. They're a little bit different length depending on the size fitting you're using, but for the 1/2 inch pipe, it is about 1 1/4 inches. It allows it to sleeve inside both fittings and hold it together. So what it does, you can see here, is it's in here. It allows me to fit this fitting and this fitting together with 0 gap in between them. And that allows me to design and build these swinging signs. So what I do is I just stick my finger in the end of it until it's pretty tight, and then I go around it multiple times with the primer swab, and I make sure I've got the whole thing coated, and there you go. Always make sure you put your lid back on these products. They evaporate quickly, and you'll come back and find that your brand new can of primer or glue is all dried out, and you'll have to go buy another one. First things first, I put the 90 on. Make sure it's set. Then I'm going to put the 0 piece inside the long end of this 1/2 inch fitting. Give it a good whack, sits down about halfway, the other half is going to go in the other fitting. Now I'm going to glue the other end of the long side of that fitting. Now here's a very important part. You have got to make sure that this is entirely flat on whatever work surface you're working on. So I hold this end down to make sure that this 90 is sitting on the table. Then I'm going to put this piece on, and my objective is to make sure both of these pipes are at the same level, running out like this, so that the whole project's going to end up being flat. So I lift up that end a little, I slide it on, I make sure both fittings are flat on the table. That glue is pretty well set. This fitting is not going to move right now unless I give it a whack, and you'll see that all that purple down there disappeared as I set that fitting the rest of the way in. So the last piece of this part is going to be the 1 inch by 1/2 inch T, which allows it to swing. Again, I'm going to hold this 90 down flat on the table, and I'm going to put that T on there. I'm going to slide it all the way as far as I can. In this case, it slid all the way down, and I don't need to use the hammer. I can see that it's completely set. We've got both of our upright portions made for the swinging part of the sign. Now we're going to put the cross braces in here, and then that portion of it's done. So we're going to glue the 1/2 inch 90 on the bottom of both of these pieces. I'm going to put one piece of 1/2 inch pipe in this side. We're going to make sure it's set, lay it down flat, and then leaving this other piece flat, we're going to lift up the pipe, slide it into the fitting. We're going to push it in as far as we can. It probably is not going to go all the way. This one is still a little loose. This one is, the glue is set. So I always stand this end up, give it a whack. That sets both sides again. Lay it back down, double check that it's flat. Right, then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to install the last horizontal rod. Again, the same procedure. You're going to glue both of these 1/2 inch fittings. I'm going to put the 1/2 inch pipe in each part. Give it a whack, and there you go. You've got the swinging portion of this sign. And now we're going to make the frame of the sign. I've already got these primed. This is the bottom rod that runs across here. Here's the top rod that runs across here. They're both primed already. These are the uprights. So it's got to match up. You're going to have a 1 inch by 1 inch T down here. And up top, you're going to use a 1 inch by 1/2 inch 90. Again, I'm going to show you the primer because this is a really important part. Make sure you get inside the parts and all the way around every little part of the circle inside where the fitting is going to go. Make sure you get at least an inch up on the 1-inch pipe. This pipe, each of these fittings is a little bit different, but all of these fittings have a little ridge inside the fitting that the pipe will only go so far. On the 1-inch piece, it is about an inch down. On the 1/2-inch piece, it's about 3/4 of an inch down. So that's a good indication of how far you need to make sure you prime on the actual pipe itself. So we're going to glue one of the long ends of the T, because we're going to stick this in. Keep in mind, we're trying to make this here. Here's probably one of the trickiest parts of putting these signs together, and it's just, there's no way to measure, you just have to sort of eyeball it. This part here, because it's a 1/2 inch on a 1-inch, will not, when it sits flat on the table like that, it's crooked, okay? So you can't have that because your sign won't go together properly. So what you do is you prime up the 1-inch piece, you hold this flat on the table like we've done for the other parts, you put it on the end, and now this end you need to be up off of the table so it runs out at perpendicular to the table to line up with this part of the sign frame. So you put it on, you eyeball it, you make sure it looks like it's running straight out, push it as far as you can, and then you're going to give it a whack. And then you'll see that we have the 2 pieces that make up the uprights for the sign frame. We're almost done. Last couple of pieces here. So I'm going to glue up the 1-inch fittings on the bottom of the sign frame. And we're going to put that together. Lay it back down. You should not have to worry about anything holding it straight anymore. This should be fine by itself. Once it's on the table flat, put it together. Push it in as far as you can. Make sure everything's flat. And then I'm going to give this piece a whack. Set it all the way down. Double check. Your sign frame is flat. I'm going to flip it over. Now, you've got to remember, you can't glue both of these parts before you put this on, or you can't put it together. So I am going to glue the 2 1/2-inch fittings. I'm going to put one end in, and then I'm going to slide my swing over that 1/2-inch rod. And once I've got that over, I can put that 1/2-inch rod inside that fitting, stand it up, give it a whack, and there you go. Does not have legs yet. You can add as long a leg as you need to do to make this sign fit for whatever need you're going to use it for. This thing will swing in the wind and blow right back down. This sign frame will last for years. It will outlast your sign or your banner, whatever you decide to display in it. So, 24 by 24 swinging sign frame. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Right now, there's on the website, there's probably about 20 videos up there. I probably have 20 more to put up there as we shoot them. If you subscribe, you'll get them as they come out, and you'll see all sorts of really cool different applications that you can use to promote your business. All right, so like I promised you, here's the end of the video. And these 6 sign frames are for sale on the website as a kit. You go to pvcme.us. You'll be able to look up the size that you want, and it'll come to you. All of the pipes will be pre-cut to the right lengths. It'll come with all the fittings, you're going to need to go to Lowe's and buy primer and glue and probably a rubber mallet. But after that, all you've got to do is go to the website, find the right video and watch that a couple of times. Watch me putting that sign frame together. Make sure you got it in your mind. Then you'll have all the parts, pieces, and everything ready to go to make these sign frames at home. You've got a 24 by 18 single swinging sign. You've got a 24 by 18 double swinging sign. You've got a 24 by 24 inch single swinging sign and a 24 by 24 inch double swinging sign. There's a 32 by 32 swinging sign. You've got a single and a double. And you can make these in larger or smaller sizes if you like, but these are the 6 sizes that I'll have available for sale on the website. They'll come to you in a box. All the pieces and parts will be there. You need to buy primer and glue and a hammer, watch the video, and you'll be ready to make these signs at your house and get going on promoting your business. Good luck.